Hello and welcome to Christ Lutheran Church's video looking at the ninth commandment. We are moving right along with these commandments. The ninth and the 10th commandments are similar to one another. And so, with our look here at the ninth commandment, we are approaching the corner where we will turn away from a focus on the commandments and will move along to the stuff that the commandments prepare us for. With all the commandments that we've looked at already, we've learned something that the world around us doesn't want us to be talking about. There's this concept that we've been looking at. It's sin. We have seen how God wants us to live in these commandments, and in some ways, we have seen how pleasant it is to know what pleases God. But these words of law, these rules for daily living, they do something, and you have to understand this. The law always accuses. There are times when we look at the commandments and we think, great, fantastic, what a great way to live. But then eventually, we realize that we haven't done what we are told to do in these commandments. It's like we find ourselves back in a court case time and time again. The law is accusing us of having done wrong, and we either feel horrible about it, or we try to come up with reasons why we shouldn't feel bad about it, to excuse ourselves, to wiggle our way out of our guilt. You see, we sin, and so the law always accuses us, always makes us feel guilty. It's because of sin. Did you know that there's a way to never sin again? It's true. The Bible tells us about it in the letter of James. In chapter 1, starting at verse 14, it says, "Each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. Then after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death." Where does sin come from? It comes from desire, the wants that you have deep inside you. James tells us more about this in chapter 4. "What causes fights and quarrels among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you? You desire, but you do not have, so you kill. You covet, but you cannot get what you want, so you quarrel and fight. You do not have because you do not ask God." Our desires brew up all kinds of problems for us because they're hard to keep under control. We want, and we want, and we want. Desire leads to sin. So, just stop your evil desires. That's the way to never sin again. The ninth commandment says as much. The ninth commandment says, "You shall not covet your neighbor's house." To covet is to want something that belongs to someone else. You want it to be yours, and so you scheme to get it. And God in this commandment says to watch your desires, keep them in check, and this will keep you from sinning. And as easy as that sounds, it's not so easy, is it? Our hearts, all of a sudden, want things that we shouldn't have. We see something that is not ours, and we want it. God says that that is wrong, to want the thing that's not meant for you. God thinks that coveting is evil, and he knows that it is only going to lead to more sin. So, the solution to this problem isn't to stop desiring so that you don't sin. The solution is something else, but we haven't gotten there yet because we haven't quite finished the commandments. Next time, we will look at the 10th and final commandment. For now, here is your home activity. Your home activity is to read Proverbs chapter 7, verses 6 through 27. It's an interesting story about a young man, but this young man is someone who ended up absolutely ruined. And so after you read the passage, then you'll want to ask yourself this question: at what point did this foolish young man start to do wrong? God bless. See you next time.